What can I do when I'm stuck inside you? This cell of ice and fire, what blood red death, lost in desire, smell of life.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Not live, not direct, pre-recorded show because Ryan has other engagements to take care of tomorrow. So we decided to record this tonight, release it tomorrow. I will be in the comments. So if you're here, I'm here, but I'm also here in the video right there. Rick Paulton, Ryan Inman, and we are going to start our journey into the Halloween franchise tonight. Got me a fancy HD background because Jared Haggerty likes to complain about my backgrounds and how they suck. I think I found a good one. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do, and we're going to talk about some other stuff before we get to that.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned his name right off the bat because I'm going to be a little absent tomorrow, but I'll be doing some homework for him.
Right.
So I'll be attending Halloween at Cedar Point for the very first time. I've never gone.
I've never gone either. I did the one at Geauga Lake. Remember Geauga Lake used to have those?
I do.
And when I was at Geauga Lake the last time, I think the fucking Tiger King was there. It may not have been him, but it was a guy with a fucking tiger. And I did see in that documentary that he did do the amusement park scene. So it could have been him.
Who knows?
But he had a big fat fucking tiger there. And he's like, give me $20. You can take pictures, hug the tiger, all this shit. And I went on a ride earlier that day. I went with my ex-wife.
Yeah.
Right?
Going way back.
Going way back.
Way back.
And I went on a ride. I think I went on a ride where I was afraid my wallet would fall out. So I had her hold on to my wallet. And then she got lost in the fucking park. It wasn't there. So I didn't have $20. So all because of her, I did not get to hug and take a picture with a tiger. And it would have been fucking awesome.
Especially if it turned out that was the actual tiger.
And if I still had it, like, look, it's me and the Tiger King. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That would have been really cool. But, yeah, that's something else in my life she fucked up.
Yeah, that's cash only because he needed money for that booger sugar.
But, yeah, so I never did the Cedar Point one, but I'm hoping to get there. I might get there next week or two. I don't know.
Yeah, anytime you want to go, you let me know, man, because I got that pass.
You got the pass. You can go back, yeah.
Yeah, I can go back every day.
Yeah, so this week, or actually starting last week on Tuesday, I had the most awesome horror week in history. We'll talk about that a little bit. So what we did Tuesday, you, me, your girlfriend, and the kid went to see Friday the 13th Part 4 in the theater. That was pretty awesome. Was that the first time you seen it in the theater?
Yes, it was, and I thank you for the invite on that one.
Oh, yeah, it was good times, man. It was really cool.
It was recently dubbed my favorite.
Yes, it was on that show that took us damn near, actually took us over a year to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was pretty awesome. I think there was a 4K scan of it because it looked really good.
I have a sinking suspicion that it'll be much quicker for us to hammer through these movies.
There is one more of these movies than there is a Friday series, but...
Yeah, but not each one of these isn't going to get a dedicated show.
Yeah, I think we'll do a couple of like before we went on, we talked about it a little bit. I think we'll do Rob Zombies together for sure.
Yeah,
and we might do the more recent trilogy as one show.
Yeah,
figure it out. It'll be fun.
With these two, we can do flash episodes because you never know what's going to happen.
Just jump on and throw these out there. Yeah, that's another thing.
Like if you're not working one night on a Tuesday and I'm at home, fuck it, we'll go on.
Right on. I did. What was I gonna say? Fuck, I don't remember. Must not have been important. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh,
yeah,
so it must have been about Halloween 3 then.
It could have been. I love that movie.
Go away.
That's going to be a fun one. That's going to be one of the first ones that I really, really like that I don't think you really like at all. No spoilers yet, but
no spoilers.
So we went to go see Friday the 13th Part 4 on Tuesday. On Wednesday, hooked up with Zigzag from Death Curse Society. I can't find any of my pictures. There. Okay. With Zigzag from Death Curse Society, we went to go see Fabio Frizzi, the composer for Zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fucking awesome. I mean, the only thing I wish is that I wish they would have did it in a theater with an actual big movie screen, because it was on a projector screen, a pretty 100 inches maybe, not much bigger than my big screen over here.
Yeah, I was wondering how they were going to do that.
And when Goblin played Capitol Theater, the way we did it there is, that space in between the seats and the screen. Yeah, they were playing like kind of down there, and then the movie was on the big screen.
Yeah, that's probably the better way to do it.
Yeah, and he had it. He had it. Where you could still see the thing and you could see them. It was cool, and it just would have been cooler on a bigger screen. That's all. And then he freestyled some of the music and changed it up, so that was really cool. So like it was a slightly different soundtrack, like composer's cut, if you will. So that was really cool. And then Thursday we did the show, but you couldn't be here. You popped in before and after the show from your job, which had you over there slaving extra.
Yeah.
And so but we did have in your stead, we had Jamie Verwees from the Bloody Essentials podcast, and Zigzag came on for that. And then on Friday the 13th,
I thought the Bloody Essentials podcast was just Nina and Ethan.
Yeah, that's all that showed up when they came to Cleveland. But no, Jamie Verwees is definitely a part of it.
Sworn I went to dinner with those guys, and I only remember meeting 2 people.
But yeah, so we had that.
All right.
So where is the? I thought I had pictures of this. Oh, I do. I think. Yeah, there we go. So we went to Friday the 13th in Monroe, Michigan, and we met Tom Morga. There's Ricky dresses Roy with Roy. That was pretty cool.
Nice mask.
Yeah. Then we have Melanie Kinnaman and Ricky, and she insisted on taking this picture with just him. Mm-hmm. And she made me text it to her right away.
Aww.
So, and then of course I got a picture with her. She was much more thrilled to meet Ricky than me, but they usually are.
I'm sure. Usually
the way that goes.
Kane was too.
Yeah, of course.
Kane didn't give a shit about either of us.
I got this really cool thing because it was like a pop culture show that just happened on Friday the 13th. You ever see the dude? It's called the Greatest Wrestling Collection.
I've heard of that.
He has a lot of YouTube videos. He was on the WWE show where they try to buy back cool stuff.
Yeah.
Because he owns a lot of that stuff. I got a feather from one of Ric Flair's robes.
That's awesome.
Right there, I got that. That's pretty cool. And I met at that show. I met James Obar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, had a brief conversation with him about the new Crow movie.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
mine would have been more brief.
It was very brief. He was not very talkative. He's not a very talkative guy. But he says to me, he says, "Well, I read the script, and that's about as far as that went."
So he's seen the movie as much as I have.
Yeah, and we'll continue to see the movie as much as you have, because you won't be able to pay him to see it either.
Nah, I'm not going to go.
Then Saturday we hustled back here because you and I had an event at Bloodview Haunted House is it in Brecksville?
It's in Broadview Heights.
Broadview Heights, okay. They do a haunt, and they're open now. They're open on Fridays and Saturdays. Check their website. Every week they have a different theme. I believe
they'll start opening on Sundays too as time gets closer.
Okay. And I believe that it's $20 to get in, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, $20 for once through, and it was like $30 or $40.
$30 for an all-night pass deal. Which I don't think I'd ever want to do, because like one time through is enough. I don't know.
I agree.
For kids, though, they had the little picnic table area, so they probably just hang out and bullshit and then go through a couple times. And they probably have fun. Like the guy said, he said kids just get dropped off and abandoned there for a couple hours.
That's a good babysitter. $4.
So we got some pictures from there. There's me in the blood-free jail. Me getting my head cut off. Another picture of me get my head cut off. Another picture of me. Where's the ones of you?
Wow. See
what the hell?
Now
there we go. There's you. And more of you. I don't know what the fuck I did here.
That clown guy, man. I don't think $20 is enough to charge you if they got to feed that fucker.
Oh, the big dude that came to try
boy.
to, yeah, no doubt.
House.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
If he come at me with that cleaver for real, you wouldn't even need to run. You just walk fast. He ain't gonna catch you.
Oh, is this him? Yeah, that's him right there.
That's a big dude.
So they took us on a backstage tour, which we did the episode for Jared Haggerty. It'll be coming out on Halloween Haunts 365, and you and I are going to try to do something with that too for our people.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that gave us the tour, Brody, he's going to come on with us and talk about it. But all the money goes to charity. They've been there for 45 years. Really cool place to support. And yeah, it's really, really cool thing. So check that out.
He told me that they've been in existence since 1980, and I said, me too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun going through there, man, and seeing, actually getting to go through a haunted house before it opens.
Yeah, that was a different experience, man. And just seeing all the work that goes through it backstage with the makeup and all the wardrobe, and
he wasn't
pretty much unlimited access.
He wasn't shitting about that makeup room either, man. There was like 40 different seats, man. Like 40 different people could be getting makeup at once.
Yeah, there was
80
quite
people.
A few
It's only 2 cycles, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they had about 50, 60 people now, and they say at peak times they'll have about 80 actors.
Yeah. It was their first night or second night. They were open to Friday as well, and so I think we're gonna try to go back again with the kids since it's not too expensive. I think it's a good starter haunted house, to be honest. I mean, it wasn't like very scary. So if you have younger kids, there were parts that were and could be, but for the most part, I think it's a good one to go through with your family.
There was one particular, I won't say what it is because we'll drop that later. But there's one particular one kind of towards the end. I think that got you.
Got me?
Yeah, and then
I got at least once.
It was like a double whammy. Like the misdirection.
Yeah.
Like the first thing didn't really get you, and then you're just like, and then boom, another one.
Yeah.
That one. And then you kind of jumped a little. I was right behind you, and then that got me, like your reaction. I fed off your like little jump, It was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I was just like, "Ooh, you got that time."
Yeah, so that's why I say that there's some scary parts for adults, and there's some parts that are more tame for the kids.
Yeah.
So I think it's good for everybody.
They have fun in there too, because at the one point, like I made the one girl crack, the one with like that amazing laugh.
Oh yeah, dude!
Just like she's like, how dare you? What are you doing in my house? Like, why are you here? What are you doing in here? And I just pointed at you. I go, he made me do it. And then she real quick, she was like, kind of like cracked for a second.
Yeah, that was funny.
I'm like, he made me do it.
Right on.
But no, that was a lot of fun, man. I would definitely recommend that for it. It's safe for kids, nothing too crazy.
Mm-hmm. Right on. So so that was my week, right? Was that it? Did we do anything on Sunday?
You did. You saw Adam Marcus on Sunday.
I did, as a matter of fact. I did. Me and Ricky went to go see Adam Marcus and his lovely wife, Deborah Sullivan.
More like Ricky went to see Adam Marcus and dragged your sorry ass along.
Yeah. There's a picture of all of us.
Yeah.
Ricky wore my new Jason Goes to Hell hood and mask. We don't have the proper outfit for him, so he used his Roy outfit.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. I got to see 10 minutes of the documentary, the Hearts of Darkness documentary.
I will.
That Ricky and I are backers on. It looked like real well done, and the guy that started that movement was working in a stable. Dude from Pittsburgh. He's a really cool guy. Can't remember his name right now. I think it's TJ something. So he was there.
A guy from Pittsburgh named TJ Watt.
Yeah, not TJ Watt. Yeah, he does I guess he does 8 podcasts, and he's producing a bunch of podcasts, and he offered to help us with our non-production skills and stuff like that. So we're gonna hook up with him about that later.
Yeah, I don't think TJ Watt has that kind of time.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. And while we're doing this, Michael Felsher from the Spooky Picture Show podcast.
Yeah,
close enough. Yeah. All right. Yeah. He's coming around the corner at this Comic Con, and he's trying to creep up to scare Adam Marcus, but I don't notice that that's what he's doing. And we had just spoke about it because he directed the documentary.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, speaking of Felsher, there he is, and blew his spot up. So he ended up stopping by. He's from somewhere in Michigan. So he was coming back from Horror Hound in Cincinnati and knew Adam was here, so he stopped by to see him.
So you got Pittsburgh guys and Michigan guys. Oh, I bet you felt right at home.
Yeah, definitely. Not really.
Two favorite places, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, they have cooler horror stuff than we do.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, we can work on that and some other.
We are going to work on that. We're going to do something about that. We're going to make it our life's mission to get better horror stuff here.
Yeah, Zach did a hell of a job.
Yeah, he did with the Ohio Terracon, which has changed its name to Erie Culture Fest.
And it'll just get better and better too.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of cool horror stuff from Cleveland, I found Wes Craven's childhood home. I haven't been over there yet, though, but I found the address for it.
What city is it?
Cleveland.
Oh, it's in Cleveland.
Yeah. It's on Huff.
Oh.
8321, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
Probably
somewhere in that area.
Probably a better neighborhood when he lived there.
Yeah, it was definitely a better neighborhood when he lived there. I mean, not that he grew up with money or anything. It's actually getting to be a good neighborhood now because everybody's redoing that whole neighborhood because of the hospital.
I see somebody.
Yeah, that's my wife in the background there. Yeah. But
I was gonna say I don't think she's ever appeared on here.
No. So, but yeah, so I was going to take Zigzag over there when I discovered it when he was in town, but we kind of ran out of time with the Angelos, and we kind of didn't have. He wanted to get there early to make sure everything's cool,
Of course.
So yeah, something like that. Where are you going? She's leaving now, I guess. All right. So. But yeah, that was my weekend. It was pretty awesome.
Well, that was a hit and a run.
Yeah. She was doing something on my bed. I don't know what she was doing.
I know. Well, you got 4 kids. I don't want to know what she's doing on your bed.
Well, if I'm over here and she's over there, I mean, it doesn't work that way.
See, I don't have kids, so I don't know how that works. I've only seen it on TV and in the movies.
Yeah.
Like this one we're going to talk about tonight. I saw it.
This one, there we go. There's a transition.
Yeah, I saw it on there a couple of times.
Yeah, definitely. And in this first one, too. I got some notes.
I have a literal receipt with notes on the back.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, what good is that going to do us?
Well, that was from my, what was that? Oh, that was lunch the other day at Aladdin's.
Oh, Aladdin's good stuff. What'd you get?
Oh, my God. I didn't even notice this till now. Table 13.
There you go.
How perfect is that?
Hell yeah.
That day I got Jasmine's favorite, which is like a bean and rice dish with chicken tawuk, grilled chicken tenders, and garlic sauce and hot sauce. And then we got this pesto hummus as like an appetizer, and it was pretty damn good. And it sounds like I'm doing a fucking commercial for them, and I'm not. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, they got good stuff. All right. So Halloween 1978. That's what we're going to start. We're going to start at the beginning. The Friday 13th, we're real sporadic. Yeah. We're not going to do that with this one. We're going to go 1 to, well, they don't go to 13, but there's 13 movies.
We're not going to start with part 7 and do all the odd ones first.
No, we're not going to get it all goofy. We're just going to go 1 to 13.
I'm missing something. Something's not right, though, to talk about this. I think this got to go.
All right, we're going to
move
to Jason Plant.
I actually think this got to go. And something's got to come in. Because this is spooky season, it's starting to get a little cool out there.
There you go. Right on.
I'm ready.
You're ready. All right.
It's a pretty cool throw, huh?
Hell yeah, it is. So I was thinking for the Halloween, we ranked the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. We had Jared on, who's a big Nightmare on Elm Street guy. For Friday the 13th, we have Mike Connors and Brian, two big Friday the 13th guys. I think for the Halloween series, we're going to get Ethan on because that's his favorite movie.
That is.
And we'll get him on, Ethan from the Bloody Essentials podcast, and that'll be our way to get him on the show when we get to
number
number 13.
An actual member of that podcast. I can verify that.
You've met him?
Yes. A couple times.
All right. So we got Halloween 1978, directed by the one and the only John Carpenter, who needs no introduction.
No.
The movie had a $325,000 budget and went on to make $47 million.
That's a lot of dollars for nothing.
That's a lot of ROI there.
That's a very high percentage of profit. I don't think I can count that high.
Many hundreds of percents.
That's many thousands of percent.
Yeah, I think it's 15. I think it's 1,500% profit.
Wow.
On a quick, I mean that's at least that. Because every million has 3%, and add a zero, carry this. I don't know. I think it's about 1,500%.
You say it made $45 million?
47 million.
47.
Mm-hmm. A lot of money.
That's like 15,000%, not 1,500.
Not 1,500?
That's like 15,000%.
All right, let's get a calculator here real quick. So we got 325 times 15. That's not going to get me anywhere. I was right about the number, though. 15. I just might not have the zero in the right place.
15 million %.
No, it won't be million.
I know.
Might be 1,000 though. It might be 15,000.
It's a lot. It's a lot of money for not a lot of money up front.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
So you want to just shoot through the cast real quick? Is that what we normally do?
Sure.
So we got Donald Pleasance as Loomis.
Hell yeah. And he wasn't the original choice. I guess Christopher Lee was, and he turned it down, and a guy regretted it till he died.
There was another guy too.
There was, and it was also a big name, but Christopher Lee was the one that was like vocal
Let's see
about
if I wrote it down.
Peter Cushing?
I did not.
Was it Peter Cushing?
That name sounds familiar.
That's another Star Wars guy.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
And Loomis, of course, his name came from Sam Loomis.
Mm-hmm.
Or that was his name, Dr. Loomis, Dr. Sam Loomis. Yeah, from Psycho.
Yeah. And then, we also have the daughter of
The Jamie Lee Curtis connection for Psycho.
There's a lot of Hitchcock influence in this film. Not just, character names or casting choices, but just the direction of this. And it's
absolutely.
And it's wild because Carpenter doesn't really show that in his other films, but this one's so different.
Mm-hmm. I would, say he was definitely influenced by Hitchcock for sure.
Oh, for sure. In this one.
So, Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode. I got the 4K version, and I watched her and Carpenter doing commentary. It was pretty cool. And then it also had footage of her one and only convention she ever did.
Yeah, she don't do them.
She made Sean Clark represented her at that, and she made, I want to say $200,000 for her charity.
Yeah, because someone
in about
like her,
6 hours.
Yeah, someone like her, it would be a charity thing because she has no shortage of money.
Yeah. She didn't want to do it for money. She wanted to raise money. I forget what the charity was. I think it had something to do with animals.
It seems like a good reason for her to do one now and then.
Yeah.
You know, especially now that she's gotten older and isn't acting all of the time.
Hey, I mean, you know, she could probably get close to $1,000 for a photo op and an autograph.
Her, yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
100 people's $100,000 right there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Michael Felcher, he was at that place because he was on the documentary. That was really cool.
Oh, and this character became a legendary final girl and kind of started the trope of the virginal girl being the final girl.
Yeah, she's probably the most famous final girl ever.
She is the most famous.
And she's done it in more than one movie, even.
More than,
I mean, more than one franchise, not just Halloween.
Yeah.
Because, you had Prom Night, and she had that other movie. She had, she did a couple horror movies back to back, and then swore off the franchise, and then occasionally came back to Halloween. But
right.
Yeah. And then we have her friends. Because remember, the movie was originally supposed to be the Babysitter Murders.
Yes.
So the movie was supposed to center around her and her two friends who were also babysitters. And Nancy Loomis, who played Annie. And the great P.J. Souls, who was Linda.
Yes.
From
totally.
Carrie fame. Totally. Yeah. So every time I hear totally, that's exactly what I think is P.J. Souls.
Carrie, Stripes, not horror, obviously, but fun movie. Rock and Roll High School Forever, or Rock and Roll High School, not Rock and Roll High School Forever. That's the one with Corey Feldman. Rock and Roll High School, only with actual Ramones in it.
Charles Cyphers, he just passed away recently. The Sheriff Brackett. Sandy Johnson, who's very active on social media, and pretty sure I had conversations about getting her on here, so we might do that. She's Judith Myers.
I think now we have a real big in with her via Misty. So.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They are.
She's friends with her, and she. You were wearing a really cool, hard to find, very rare shirt that Judith Myers had never seen, that Sandy Johnson had never seen.
Right. Yeah.
And it was at the convention at the Ohio Terracon. So she was also a Playboy Playmate, by the way.
That's right.
For those that didn't know. Absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had the Shape, the Face, and the Child. The three people that played actually, it was 4 people that played Michael Myers. There's a 4th one thrown in there, but the 3 main people, which of course is Nick Castle.
Mm-hmm.
He was the Shape.
He was the one behind the mask.
Behind the mask. Tony Moran, who
plays
is Joni Moran.
Right.
Or not Joni Moran. She played Joni on Joni Loves Chachi and Happy Days. What was it? Aaron Moran? Aaron Moran's brother.
Moran, yeah.
Who I hear's a total asshole.
Really? I don't know anything about it.
I've heard some people like Brian Emmenizer met him, and he tells a great story about him that Brian was there raising money for dogs or something. And Tony Moran came over and signed a bunch of 8x10s for him and said, "Here, sell these and raise some money too." So the guy can't be all bad. But I heard some crazy things about him and I think Sean Clark. So if you look up Sean Clark, Tony Moran, you'll get the rest of the story.
All right.
So, like I said, the guy can't be all bad because he did that for Brian.
Yeah, and he was the young adult Michael without the mask.
No, he was when they show him going into the closet. That's him.
Oh, okay.
But where he takes off the mask.
Scene. Okay,
yeah. And he's credited as 23-year-old Michael.
Mm-hmm.
But Nick Castle, who's 23-year-old Michael as well, is credited as the Shape.
Yeah.
And I wonder why there's a distinction between Michael being unmasked and Michael masked.
I don't know.
You think it's just the mask makes him that much more evil?
Yes.
Maybe. And Will Sandin, of course, was the child, and he does a bunch of cons too.
Right. Yeah.
Right on.
Very, very, very personable he is what I'm told. So.
Yeah. Did you have anybody else in the cast that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, the kids. We got a future housewife of Beverly Hills.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Kyle. She,
Is that the girl that was being babysat?
yeah, Lindsay was her name in the fucking movie. Yeah,
I don't remember.
yeah, that's Kyle Richards.
Okay,
Yeah, she's one of them housewives of Beverly Hills now, and also is
Kyle.
Kyle Richards. Yeah,
Kyle's a boy's name.
no, it isn't. Not
Yeah,
for her.
it is.
No, it isn't.
So you had Kyle, yeah, and then you had the other kid was
Tommy Doyle, and then the kid that played Tommy Doyle.
Yeah,
name off the
now
top.
his character, of course, went on to matter a lot more in the series, but
see, he could have been the Tommy Jarvis of this franchise, but he wasn't. I mean, I guess for all intents and purposes, Laurie Strode is the Tommy Jarvis of this franchise, but
is she though?
Sort of.
See, because I think at least in the first movie, in the second movie, in the fourth movie, in the fifth movie, it's more about Donald Pleasance.
I get that.
I think it's more about his interaction with Michael Myers and what's going on with him.
I think he is more important to the franchise than Jamie Lee Curtis, and that's not a. I don't think that's a crazy opinion.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, she did more of them, but she also outlived the guy.
Well, yeah,
but the Sam Loomis character was in he was in more movies than her.
Yes,
because he was in 1, he was in 2, he was in 4, 5, 6.
6. Yeah, that's it.
Wasn't in 7, wasn't in 8.
No,
but he was in Rob Zombie's 2 movies.
Right, but not.
But so was Laurie Strode.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he was not in the last 2, which Laurie was. So Laurie's got him beat by it's about tied. It's about tied.
This fucking franchise is confusing.
Oh, it is. It is. we were discussing if we wanted to do each timeline individually.
Oh.
But it just gets kind of goofy and thrown around, and who knows? The continuity here is something else.
Let's just stick with the first one tonight.
Yeah, and that's what we're gonna do. We got to before we can get to 2, we got to get to 1. So
yeah, as far as the cast go, that's like really all that really matters. It's a tight, small cast. There's also what's his nuts, the BJ Souls boyfriend.
Yeah, he's
who gets the
cool.
nice kill through the wall.
Glasses, Bob, right?
Something like
Isn't
that.
It Bob?
I think, yeah, it is. Well, Bob's his character's name. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
That gave birth to Ghost Bob, which is
and
awesome.
that's how I thought of it too. The Ghost Bob toy that the guy
can't think of the actor though. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not
we probably don't have anything for him else that he was in either. So
yeah.
All right.
But he was cool for what he was.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, that's really all we need to talk about in the cast.
So, and then the other Michael Myers was, of course, Deborah Hill.
That's right.
Deborah Hill played his hand, and I don't know if it was in this one or part 2, but she wore the mask for a scene.
Yeah.
But so there was technically 4 Michael Myerses. And the first movie was produced by Mustafa Akkad.
That's right.
And then all the ones later was his son, Malik.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason he didn't do the other ones, which I found out, was he was killed in a terrorist bombing. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis was talking about it on the special features, the Halloween 4K I got.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah. So I wrote that down. I was like, that's pretty crazy.
That is absolutely insane.
Yeah. I mean, movies were so old. I mean, I figured he could have just died of natural causes, but that's pretty wild.
Did that happen? Where did that happen?
I didn't write down the country, but in some Arabic country.
Right.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, I know his son basically owns, quote unquote, Halloween.
Yeah. He does. Yep.
So.
All right. So
it's kind of like how Frank Mancuso Jr. took over and started producing the Friday films. But not because his dad died in a terrorist accident. So
yeah, know that.
But the same kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And once Frank Mancuso Jr. stopped having shit to do with Friday the 13th is when the movies really started to suck, if you noticed. So
right. Why I still contend that none of them. Well, some of them suck, but I still like them. There's no Friday the 13th movie I don't want to watch.
All right, we're talking about Halloween tonight.
Yeah. There's some I like to watch better, but
well,
with the Halloween series, is there any that I hate?
Oh yeah.
I don't think there is.
We'll get there.
It is. We'll have to, as we rewatch these.
We got time to go. We got time.
Right. So this movie, it took place in Illinois, right?
Haddonfield, Illinois. With palm trees, Illinois.
But just like how L.A. became Cleveland, the Northeast Ohio area for Nightmare on Elm Street, Pasadena became Illinois. So occasionally you caught the glimpse of a palm tree or two. It wasn't as blatant as Wes's movie.
And they had to use fake leaves to replicate fall because
they were real leaves, but they were painted by the art crew, bagged up, and whenever they needed to do a scene, they'd start throwing them out. But if you looked to the right or the left of the scene, no leaves.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you get with such a small budget.
$300,000 budget, you can only afford, so many bags of leaves.
And no, they used it. They reused them. They packed them up, put them back in the bag when the scene was over, moved to the next place.
Yeah, they did.
So they couldn't even afford to not reuse the leaves. Sounds
like the payroll budget people in my company were involved in production on that film too.
So and another thing, because it was filmed, it wasn't filmed in fall, as you said. So they didn't have pumpkins.
Yeah.
So they painted other types of squashes.
Tommy
Doyle
there was
two actual pumpkins in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Might have been 3 if you count the one that was carved by Tommy Lee Wallace for the intro.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the one that Jamie was carrying. Then there was also
the Tommy Doyle had one at school. That
might have been real. There was only 3 real ones. All the other ones were fake.
That one looked pretty real because remember the kid pushed him down and it broke.
Okay, that is the other one. Yep.
Yeah.
Because Jamie's didn't break. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And that was the only pumpkins they could get.
With that production, hers and his might have been the same, and they just shot her scene first and then gave him that one, and they broke it.
You might be right, because I always remember hearing there was only 2 used.
There you go.
So that would be the one that was carved for the beginning, and that one could have been a shared pumpkin, if you will.
There were more pumpkins than there were pints of blood, though.
Yeah, absolutely. There was drops of blood. It's barely seen.
And Sandy Johnson.
That's the only scene I remember seeing it. And I think there might have been a drop or 2 on Bob. There might have been.
I don't remember Bob getting bloody, and you'd remember because
if it was bloody, it wasn't. There was blood. It wasn't bloody. Yeah. Like literally a couple drops, but I don't think so. I think Sandy Johnson was literally the only one. A lot of people thought it was a lot bloodier than it is. It's that whole theater of the mind thing again.
And I read this thing too that in between takes of that, it was actually Jamie Lee Curtis that would wash the blood off of her breasts. I read that.
Absolutely. That did happen because whoever else was doing it was too rough.
Yeah.
So a female was better at,
Yeah.
And speaking of that, the Myers house from that intro, they went through and painted everything white and hung all the sheets, and they didn't have a production team. So yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis, John Carpenter, Tommy Lee Wallace, all these guys, they did it.
So you're saying then Bob became Bob the Builder for a while?
Absolutely. If he was there that day, then yes. Right on.
Yeah. Hey man, when you got no budget, you do what you got to do. Just like indie wrestlers help set up the ring and shit.
Yeah, that's it.
What you got to do is random production guys selling concessions.
Any place you can save $1.
Oh yeah. Right on. So, one thing I really, really, really want to talk about in this film is the cinematography.
Absolutely.
It's just so it's very fall feeling. It feels like fall, even though they shot the thing in spring.
And in California.
Yeah. And it just, man, what a job. It just feels fall. The colors, the hues, the saturation. It's just John Carpenter for you. He can really just get you into a feel visually.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong about the money, but they used a brand new camera that had never been used. It was a whole new technology. And I forget the name of it, but I want to say it was 50% of the budget.
Yeah, I heard it did cost almost half.
The camera was like six figures.
$100 and some thousand. Yeah.
Yeah. And that helped them do a lot of those like continuous shots and things because it was like on like a track somehow. And yeah, they talk about it in the behind the scenes thing I've seen. It was pretty cool.
Well, that ties in then to the opening scene after. Well, you have the opening credits, which are just so great. Those are so well. And then, and I'm not like one for like opening credits before, like, because there's no open to this. It's credits and then the movie.
I liked it though because like you had the music playing and they're showing you everybody that's in the movie, and it just kind of makes you get ready for it. I don't know.
Can I ask you this? This is and granted, the movie's fine the way it is. It's better than fine. We'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
Say though, you do that opening scene, that steady cam shot first, then do the opening credits, then jump into the movie. What would you think if they did it that way?
That could work. That could definitely work.
See, now, if this movie was made now, that's probably how they would have done it. Because everything, and I'm a big fan of like cold opens, like that. More so maybe for TV shows. You know, like I don't know if you were a fan of The Office at all.
I've caught a few episodes, and I'm sure I'd like it. I just haven't had time to watch it.
They all had cold opens, and I say cold open because typically that opening scene would have nothing to do with the plot of the episode. So it was just an old scene, but it was always fun. Right now, the shows like Breaking Bad had opens always, but it always had something to do with something.
Yeah.
So it would be more like that, not necessarily a cold open, but just an open.
Right on.
And sometimes that open was a few minutes. Sometimes it was 10 seconds. But that was part of it too. You never knew when that opening credit music was going to pop, you know? So I don't know. Yeah, I rewatched the movie today for the first time in a long time. Even I've seen it.
Yeah.
So many
times.
And that's actually right off the rip, you know. I was thinking that. I'm like, man, you know, if they made that movie today, not a remake, but just this was a brand new idea. This is what movie we're going to make. They would have definitely had that scene with young Michael Myers first, then brought the opening credits in.
See, if we knew how to edit stuff, we would be able to make that happen and judge for ourselves how much better or worse it would be.
I think it'd be cool. I mean, the movie's fine the way it is. I'm not saying redo it, but I think that would be interesting.
So when was the first time you seen the film?
That's a good question, and I wanted to get to that too. I definitely saw the Friday the 13th movies, at least a few of them before this.
Right, same.
Yeah. But
so were you like me, and did you think Michael Myers was a Jason ripoff?
No, I didn't think he was a ripoff.
Because I did.
No, I never thought that. I just wasn't as into him as I am Jason, and I'm still not, like, overall.
Yeah.
But I think Michael Myers in this movie, in this movie, is probably better than any Jason. Just in this movie.
I don't know about better, but I'd say scarier.
He's definitely scarier.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, he's extremely scary in this movie. In the very little bits and pieces you get of him. But you get a lot of him just looking, and you know it's him looking, all the perspective shots. And just that makes it scary, too.
Every time I rewatch this, you know, and today is no exception, he's on screen more than I remember him from like my previous view. I thought he was on screen like not much at all, but he actually is. Like even the shots over the shoulder, you know, when you see him in the window across the you know, the street or whatever, it still counts as screen time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, when he's in the car, even though you don't see his head, you know it's him. You know, he's actually in the movie a lot for a slasher villain.
Right.
I think so. I definitely wouldn't have wanted more.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
less even would have been fine, but I think
Yeah.
the amount that he was on was just right.
not to skip ahead or anything, but yeah, this is like one of the more perfect slasher movies. I mean, it really did very well.
Donald Pleasance only spent 5 days on this thing and only has like 18 minutes of screen time.
He stole the show every second.
Of course.
I mean,
I
cannot even picture anybody. Well, they tried with Malcolm McDowell, and it's just not the same.
And I like Malcolm McDowell.
I do too.
Just not as Loomis.
No.
But
Loomis
we're getting
was
way ahead of
nut,
ourselves there. But yeah,
he was almost as crazy as Michael.
Yeah. He's very manic, very obsessive, but for a reason.
Yeah.
People think he's probably crazy as a soup sandwich, with this pure evil and all that, but the guy turns out to be fucking right.
Oh, gone, and now he's back. All right.
He turned out to be right with his, foreshadowing of, that he is the boogeyman.
Absolutely.
Because he is.
So yeah, when I first when I first even heard about Michael Myers, I seen the mask and that costume. I'm like, they're just trying to do a Jason ripoff. So I didn't watch him for the longest time. I mean, I watched one. That's how I figured out he's a ripoff. But I don't know. I was just like put off by it. But
and then later in life, when you become a Friday the 13th fanatic, you hear Sean Cunningham going, "We ripped off Halloween."
Right. I was like, well, you know what? When I actually figured that out, because Aaron, our friend Aaron, his favorite slasher franchise is Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when I met him, even to that day, I thought that Friday the 13th came first. And that's when we didn't have the internet in our pocket. Yeah. You know what I mean? But at that time we did. And I looked it up.
A computer and wait 5 minutes for it to
boot up. I think that's what we did. Is we went to a computer and I was like, holy shit, it was 78. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah.
So in so many ways, this film became a blueprint for what slasher movies are now.
Mm-hmm.
And it still is. Were there horror and slasher movies before this? Yes. But not like this. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing exactly like this.
No.
It's John Carpenter for you, man.
Absolutely. Now, yeah, I have this movie. It's nowhere near the top of his movies. I think he does shit that's so much better than this. But I think this is this is great. Most people probably would disagree with me, but it is one of, if not the top of the slasher genre. Yeah, we'll get to the end.
It's a bit up there, man.
It's definitely up there. I just like, as far as Carpenter goes, I like They Live better. I like The Thing better. I like, and maybe that's it. Maybe it's just them two. But those two are, something else,
You see, and I also need to throw Michael Myers doesn't stalk, he lurks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of cool how he's just in the background watching.
Yeah.
And so after that continuous shot scene, Sandy Johnson gets killed, and Michael's in the front in the clown costume.
Mm-hmm.
What I had something I wanted to say about that. Oh, for the Shatner mask, Tommy Lee Wallace had his choice of Don Post Emmett Kelly clown mask,
mm-hmm.
which was similar to the one that the kid was wearing.
Right. Just a little bit more rugged.
And I heard that they went to a costume store and grabbed two masks. One was the clown mask and one was a Shatner. But right next to the Shatner mask was the Leonard Nimoy mask, and that could have been what they brought back. And boy, that would have been different, huh?
I'm so glad they did not do that.
So of course they just painted him white, cut the eye holes a little bigger. I think they dyed the hair a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we have that back there. It's actually the Part 2 mask.
See, it was a $1.98 mask, but they
What's that?
It was a $1.98 mask, but they put a lot of work into it. They put a lot of work into it.
Yeah.
So, but that was the base. William Shatner was It's one of the, it's one of the best-selling masks every year for Halloween, but it's not necessarily because of him.
Yeah. Oh well, they just re-released the Don Post William Shatner mask as it is, as it was.
Yeah.
Through the True Treat Studios. I was trying to get one of those, but I didn't have the money.
So. I want to get me a Myers mask, man.
Well, we've got two. We got a 78, and I got it from Record Exchange for like $20, and then we got the part 2 that's on the standee back there that looks a little off.
I just want a 78, and that's really the only one I want because I still do think it is the best looking Michael.
What I think would be cool for you is to get one of those Shatner ones, and do it up yourself. Paint it better.
Oh, I'm not
eye holes.
Really work with latex though. I don't know.
Be fun.
I think I'll just buy one from a maker.
Like a rehold one or just an off the shelf one?
A good one.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be one and done. Just like I'll eventually want a Freddy, and I just want a part 3.
Well, if I get a Freddy mask, I want a silicone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you put it on, you want your face to move with it. The good thing about the Myers mask is it doesn't need to be tight because it never was on him. It was loose.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, Freddy, man. I'm thinking about Freddy mask. Man, a new Nightmare mask would be fucking sweet, too. That's probably the scariest looking Freddy. But back to Halloween. I'm going way off track here.
I'm going off the rails.
So, yeah, and just, obviously the story continues after this forever and even to current times. But this movie in and of itself, I think one of the aspects that makes it so scary is the guy has no motive. And
absolutely,
it works so well. Just think, you got to look at it. This is 1978. You just watch this movie. This is it in a box. You never know another one's going to be made. You don't know anything about that. And it wasn't for a few years that they did a sequel.
And there wasn't supposed to be another one.
Right. Just even if this was a standalone one-time thing, never made a sequel, I think it's just as good. Stands up.
Just as legendary.
Yes. And is just as amazing.
Maybe even more so. Maybe if it's the only one, maybe you look back on it even more fondly.
Probably.
Like maybe you look at it more. Maybe people like me would look at it more on the level they do the other Carpenter movies.
See, yeah, I don't think it would have. I don't think the Michael Myers character would have been as legendary as he is now.
But the movie itself.
Yeah,
as a whole, all of the elements of it.
Yeah, from a business standpoint, and making Michael Myers like this horror icon, though, it was the right choice to go forward with it.
Of course.
Because a Die Hard,
billions of dollars.
Yeah, and even though it was a low budget independent film, though, John Carpenter's John Carpenter, everybody would know about it.
Right.
But it definitely wouldn't have stood the test of time like this as far as recognition and popularity, financial, gains, which they still make so much money off this thing from merchandise.
Oh, yeah, like billions.
All the time.
So in this film, Deborah Hill wrote a lot of the female dialogue, which Nina Yarrington from the Bloody Essentials podcast, since now we've named all 3 of them, she really has a problem with the Rob Zombie female dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
So too bad that he didn't have Deborah Hill around to help him out with that.
Yeah.
Having a woman's perspective, you would need that when you have so many women characters. Right on.
Yeah, his wife was around, but she's too busy hogging the camera every time he's making a movie. So
yeah. And I doubt she would have the perspective of a Deborah Hill.
Yeah, pretty safe bet. Maybe she could do the dialogue for the strippers,
Right.
People, and for those that think I'm making a dig, she was a literal stripper when he met her. So
yeah, you'll have that sometime.
And that's fine. I'm not judging it. I'm just saying, if people think I'm just taking a jab, I'm just spitting.
If I could be a stripper, I'd be a stripper. My little sister was a stripper. And she didn't want to tell me about it forever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't remember how I found out, but she finally did tell me because she thought I'd be like so upset.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, if I could get paid that much money to fucking shake my ass, you better believe I would do it. I said, but from now on, like, I don't go to strip clubs, but I've found myself in one once or twice when you're with other people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I said, from now on, while you're doing this is what I want you to do. I want you to tell me wherever you're working, so I know I'll never go there.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I would plan on going to a strip club anyway, but I damn sure don't want to walk into one with my sister there.
Oh, that would be the worst.
Oh God, yeah, it would definitely be the worst. But yeah, so yeah, I have no problem with that. If I can get paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars a day to fucking shake my ass, you better believe I'd be doing it.
Me too. Better than trying to sell stuff from China to people.
Right, dude. Cashing checks and driving my car. Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Definitely a whole better time, that's for sure. So is there anything else you want to get into on this movie? You want to talk about the kills?
There are only a few.
How many are there?
Well, there's one off screen, the truck driver guy. Then the two girls, the boyfriend,
and the sister.
And at the beginning. So 5.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
So not a whole lot of kills, which in most Michael Myers movies, I mean, there wasn't.
So we get a brutal stabbing, 1 off screen, 2 strangulations, and then a not so brutal but very cool visual stabbing.
Yeah.
So 5.
Obviously, the best kill, in my opinion, is Mrs. Loomis. What was her name? In the car, Annie Loomis. Yeah, Annie. Yeah. Her and Nancy Loomis was her shoot name. In the car, the brutal strangulation scene.
Then that's a cool setup to that too, because she locks her keys out and then goes in to get them and comes back, and then the door's unlocked and she don't even realize it because she just got dick on the brain
until she gets in the car
and sees.
And as soon as she sits down, the light bulb goes off. Yeah.
She sees the car steamed up and be like, "Oh wait, why is the door unlocked?" And then boom, you're getting killed.
You're done.
And I like it's realistic because I've read this before, and I watch those true crime shows. It takes a long time to strangle someone to death.
Yeah,
like you can't just choke them out and then
pretty long.
And they die in 10 seconds. No, it takes like a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So like sometimes longer, depending on how well you have their airway blocked off. To actually kill someone from strangling them takes a long time, and that's. I appreciate that the scene is long for that reason. And
I like the way it was shot through the window of the car.
Yes.
You know, and just she really sold the shit out of that too. You know, like that was some of the best acting in the film for sure.
She's my least favorite of the 3 girls, but I still like her.
Yeah, and that death scene is just amazing.
Yeah.
And then of course a lot of people like Bob.
Yeah, of course, because it's fucking cool.
and then Michael puts on his ghost deal to get what's PJ Soul's name? Linda.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so not a whole lot of gore, not a whole lot of blood. Like we said, there's only a couple drops of blood, but a lot of shit like Hitchcock films, like we were saying earlier, that makes you think, fucks with your head. Like a lot of shit's like the way the movie's shot, like really gets you into it, and
no budget, no problem, no blood, no problem, no motive, more scary.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. That's the thing that sucked about part 2, which we'll get into on the next time we do. Is like there's no need to make him her fucking brother. Fucking stupid.
There wasn't a need for it, but to extend the franchise, I get why.
He couldn't just want to come back to kill her because she lived.
Yeah, that's true. It'd be more, him attracted to the house in the neighborhood, kind of like Jason to his woods.
Yeah.
Actual person as his target. So,
yeah,
I get it. I'm cool with it either way. I don't hate the whole Lori is my sister thing as much as most people do. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Like I know a lot of people hate that. I don't hate it.
Well, growing up, I never thought about it too much, just
no, neither.
But like when you grow up and you're looking back, like it just wasn't necessary.
But again, for this movie though, we can't even factor that in because
we'll talk about that later because that
wasn't a thing yet.
We'll go off on a tangent on that, I'm sure. So, anything else we want to get into about this film, or you want to just rate it, or you want to talk about anything else?
I got my top 5s. We can maybe go off.
Yeah, I forgot about the top 5 gimmick. Let's do that.
I got my top 5 and bottom 5 things about this. I'm gonna do my top 5 first.
I can't believe you have 5 on the other end.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My top 5 favorite things of the many, many, many things I like about Halloween 1978. Number 5 is actually, it's totally PJ Souls as Linda. I love PJ Souls. She's by far my favorite of the 3, even more so than Jamie Lee Curtis. So spoiler alert, she's not in my top 5.
Yeah.
I did like Jamie Lee Curtis, and I
Yeah.
like Laurie Strode and the whole amazing final girl thing, but that's for another day. Again, 5 things I like better. Love PJ Souls. She's adorable. She's funny. One of the only little bits of humor comes from her, which is cool. Her kill's cool. The whole setup to it, and yeah, I just like her. She has a lot of charisma on screen, and she was different than the other characters, and I appreciated that. My number 4 favorite thing about this, and this kind of ties in Jamie Lee Curtis a little bit, is not so much the final chase as a whole. That's part of it, but mainly that shot of her, and then he just appears, like slowly glowing. That's just one of the greatest shots in horror movie history.
Yeah,
Right
absolutely.
there. Just perfect. And I guess they did like a little incandescent light like under the thing, so it would slowly illuminate from the inside. But just, my God, the whole chase thing in the closet, the whole thing is good, but just that shot, which really caps off that thing, fucking amazing. Number 3 is the opening scene, the POV scene with young Michael. It's about 6 minutes long, roughly. I didn't time it, but it felt like about 6 minutes. The whole opening, right after the credits, and then and it's so cool. I like when he picks the little mask up and we see everything through the eye. It's so cool, man. And then just the brutal kill, and then we see it's the little brother. And the very first time I watched this, again, I don't remember exactly when that was, but I was not expecting that. The very first time,
What's that?
If you go into this movie ice cold and don't know anything about it, you're not going to know that's a 6-year-old brother.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Oh. So, yeah, that's like shock factor, shock value, cool. But just the way that was made in one shot, unbelievable. Especially on a low-budget film. It took a whole day and night to set that shot up, I guess. But it makes sense why, because it was so involved. That's my number 3. My number 2 favorite thing is Donald Pleasance as Loomis. He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's probably my favorite part of the movie.
So many quotes from him in this that could just be just iconic, for lack of a better term. It's just that's no man, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes, just everything. That whole scene too, where he's explaining to the officer the whole, just so cool. And you think a character like that is often thrown into something just as for like exposition or just to blab the plot or whatever ahead, but he was so much more than that.
Yeah, I think I think him and Michael's beef goes like way deeper than Jamie's, but we already said that.
Oh yeah.
And especially like in the later films, like he's like, this is like, he probably sees this as somebody he trusted as he was a kid that kind of abandoned him, and you get all those crazy things going on.
Yeah, and he just, to me, again, other than the Shape, Michael himself is the second most important character to the whole thing, more so than Laurie.
Yeah, I think so too.
My opinion. And my number 1 favorite thing, and just if anybody's ever watched this show,
I just like, how could you have anything above Donald Pleasance? And now I know why.
It's the score.
It's the score, absolutely.
It's the greatest horror score ever. Even more, and I'm a huge Bernard Herrmann fan. Huge Bernard Herrmann fan. You can't even. This is better than the score to Psycho. To me, it is, and that takes, I think so too. And that takes a lot for me to say that.
Yeah, there's some really good ones, but this is one of the most iconic. I mean,
and obviously, Carpenter was probably a little influenced by Bernard Herrmann on this. We know Harry Manfredini's biggest influence is Bernard Herrmann, and I had about a 45-minute conversation with Harry Manfredini about Bernard Herrmann.
Yeah, but in the same way that Harry's music is like an actual character in the movie,
Yes.
the same.
And people know how much I love the scores of the Friday the 13th. This score is better than any of them. Harry is amazing, one of the best to ever do it. He never made a score this good. No one.
Yeah, well, and I think John Carpenter is probably more accomplished musician.
As a musician, yes.
Yeah.
But overall package, though, I mean, Harry's legendary stuff, though, is based on one franchise, and Carpenter's score, his stuff is so different, like across the board. Like, God, that Christine score is so good, but it's so different.
Yeah, but you can always tell it's him.
Yes. He kind of has his own little flair.
And even in the movies he didn't score, he had influence on, and you could tell it's him.
You know, easily the greatest, most iconic score music for any slasher. It's number one for any kind of horror movie for me too, and it's even in the conversation for greatest score of any film. To me.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Now, what
like I said,
say
it took me a second to realize where you're going. Longer than it should have.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. What are 5 bad things you found in this movie?
Okay, my bottom 5 least favorite things about this movie are absolutely nothing.
Okay, you were working me.
There's no this movie.
Like, you can't find nothing wrong with it.
I mean, if you want to nitpick anything, you can
nitpick if you can.
You can
I'm
nitpick.
curious.
You can nitpick The Godfather for fuck's
Right.
sake. I mean, anybody can do that. I'm not going to do that. This is a $300,000 slasher film made in 1978 with, other than Donald Pleasance, unknown actors.
I mean, even Jamie Lee Curtis, introducing Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. When you take all that into perspective, man, and you have to, there are no flaws in this movie.
No, there's not.
Not to me, there isn't. It's the perfect.
So I'm going to go on a limb and say this movie's definitely an A in your opinion. Or is it an A plus? Is it the A plus?
See, go over the whole thing again too. Every subgenre, and this is the slasher subgenre. This isn't straight horror. I consider this a slasher.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Myers, it's a shape.
Yeah.
Every subgenre has only one film that can be an A plus or an F minus, but there can be many Fs and many As.
Mm-hmm.
There were 2 A's for me in the Friday the 13th franchise, and I like the franchise more than the Halloween franchise, and it's not even close. But there are no Friday the 13th films as good as this one. This is the greatest slasher film ever made. This is an A plus.
Now, do you consider, a lot of people do, but do you consider Psycho a slasher movie?
No.
Okay. If you did, would that be the A plus?
Wow. See, I doubt we're ever going to do Psycho long form because.
Oh, no, we're going to eventually.
Well, I'm just going to spoil it now. For straight horror, that is my A plus.
Okay.
So they are neck and neck. And God damn it, that is so hard. That would be like choose your favorite cat between my 2 cats,
Yeah.
Like, which one pissed me off today more?
Right.
Like, oh my God, man. Do I like this movie better than Psycho? I don't know.
Is it one of them things where some days you do and some days you don't?
I think this film is paced better than Psycho.
Yeah.
This is going to sound crazy. Mm-hmm. It's directed better than Psycho.
Okay.
It's not acted better than Psycho.
No, of course not.
I like the humor better in Psycho. I like Pat Hitchcock's character a lot in that. We'll talk about her a lot if we get into Alfred stuff because I love his daughter almost as much as I loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's her second best performance in any of his movies is in Psycho.
Right on.
So yeah, gun to my head, man. If I had to make the choice right now, I think I got to go with Halloween, man.
All right. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going with an A. So this will be one of the very few movies that you score higher than me.
Yes.
And I got to rewatch all these again. I don't think it's going to get another A for me. The franchise is going to get another A for me.
Yeah, me neither.
I really don't. There's a couple B's along the way.
This is the second time, though, that a part one in an iconic horror franchise got a higher score from me than you.
And Hellraiser was the other.
You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't know, man. I just
gave it a B. I think you gave it a B.
Hang on. What did I know we didn't long form Nightmare on Elm Street, but didn't we grade it when we did the thing with Jared?
Yeah, I think we both gave it an A.
Just an A? Okay, yeah. So we tied there.
I think we both gave it an A. Yeah.
Right on. What would be my favorite? What would be my A+ slasher?
Wow.
Yeah. So tough. So tough. I do consider Psycho a slasher, and that would probably be mine.
And I can't disagree.
But I don't think it's miles ahead of this, man. I mean, I'm talking about like, right there.
See,
I mean, and Psycho has a very special thing in me because my daughter is just loving it so much, and like we relate on it. We've watched it together so many times, so that adds to it.
It's so good, and it's so different than anything else he did too.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to look at it this kind of way, though. And I mean, Hitchcock made that movie for a lot cheaper than he was making movies, but he still spent over $1 million on it in 1960.
Wow.
And
so basically $10 million.
And you have A-list, heavy-hitting Academy Award-winning actors in that movie.
Yeah.
You have all that, a legendary director who'd already made 40 films at that point. Mm-hmm. John Carpenter didn't have any of that going for him.
No, he didn't.
He had $300,000 in 1978. One pretty well-known actor who only did this to pay his fucking alimony. We forgot to mention that.
Who was that? Was it Pleasant?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why he didn't like the script at all. It's kind of like Betsy with Friday One. She needed a new car, and Donald Pleasance needed to pay his alimony. So, thankfully for us horror fans, 40 some years later, on both of those actors had bills to pay, and no other big job offers at that moment. So.
I'm trying to see if I can figure out real quick what 300K was in 1978.
Oh, compared to now?
Compared to now.
What about $1 million in 1960?
I already know about what that is. That's about 10 million.
Yeah.
I'll confirm it. Let me see. Inflation calculator. Let's do that. Inflation calculator. Go. Okay. Riveting television.
Oh, sure.
Since we're not live, I could edit this down and get some of this out of here, but I still don't know how to really do that.
Yeah, we can give the people everything, all the behind the scene. We make them wait for the payoff. You know.
All right, we want to do it backwards. We want to do.
I gave an A+ out, man. People are already kind of stunned.
Well, it's a definitely a deserving film, though. Yeah. You don't just throw those around.
And I'll say this too. I know there's people that don't like this film as much as me or you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how anyone could like a different Halloween film more than this one. I don't understand that at all.
That's impossible, right? I mean, I've heard some people say 2, and 2 is, I mean, again, I got to rewatch them all, but
when we did the 1981 deal with JP,
mm-hmm.
I think that I'm pretty sure that I ranked and graded Halloween 2 better than both of you. And I like it a lot. I do, but compared to this movie, no, sir. It's not close.
Right. No, it's not. I'm not a huge fan of 2.
I know.
I think it might be I mean, we'll get to it, and I think it might be one of my least favorites.
Oh, no.
For me.
Oh, for me, it's definitely not going to be one of my least favorites.
So 300K in 1960 would be worth about 700,000.
Oh, so yeah, even for inflation, he had less money.
Yeah, because you got to do 60 to 78.
Yeah.
60 to now would be almost nothing. But yeah.
Put $1 million from 1960 to 78, and then we'll have the real comparison. Like, what would $1 million in 1960 be worth in 78?
All right.
And then we'll put that against 300,000. That's probably going to be like, what, 2.5 million?
2.2, yeah.
Yeah. So Hitchcock had 7 times the budget of Carpenter when you look at it that way.
There you go. Yeah, I'm glad we took that little detour to figure that out, because that's kind of interesting to be able to look at it in that level.
So yeah, when you factor all that in, it just what Carpenter did was more impressive. So that's the tiebreaker for me.
That's what gives him the A+.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, they both get the A+, but the other one just gets the nod over.
Yeah.
Because I don't care. Even if you give somebody $100 million and put Academy Award-winning actors in the film, if it's good, it's good.
Right.
I'll give it the decisive grade. But when you factor in all the elements and you have to choose one or the other, then I'm going to tie break it and say what Carpenter accomplished was more impressive.
So let's wrap this thing up. We're at 1 hour and 16 seconds, and what are we going to do next week? Are we going to possibly do another Halloween movie?
I'm thinking yes.
Yeah, if we can't figure out anything else to do, if I don't hear back from people wanting to come and guest on the show, then yeah, we'll do that. I think that'll just be our go-to when we don't have a guest. Will be a Halloween movie.
I'm gonna get back to normal here now. Okay,
back to normal.
I'm
All
back.
right.
I'm back.
So next week will most likely be Halloween Part 2.
Who is that imposter giving out A+ on here? Fuck, man, that guy just giving away ratings.
Right on. So we got we'll probably do a Halloween. We're gonna talk your trip to Cedar Point Halloween weekends. If I get out to a haunt, we'll talk about that, which I might.
Yeah, we might do that this weekend too. The little lady and I.
Yeah, so I'll let you know if we're going and where we're going. If we're going, the only one I really see open is Nightmare. Everything else opens next week.
Oh, really?
So we might do Nightmare Cleveland on Saturday.
Sunday.
I'm doing something cool.
What's that?
Sunday at 8. Our guest what was it? The director for the Melonheads, Eddie? Is his name Eddie?
Eddie, yeah.
Eddie Langiel?
Langiel.
Yeah. He's going to he's reshooting the opening for the Melonheads, and he needs Melonheads to be in it. So I'm gonna go down to wherever the fuck he's at. I'm gonna put on a Melonhead head, and I'm gonna be one of the Melonheads.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it should be pretty fun.
So yeah, I'll say too. For you, that's awesome. I want you to get on screen, but I've told this to other people because people, I won't say who, were mentioning things to me. Oh, do this and do that. I don't want to appear on screen.
Oh, okay.
But anything behind the scenes, production or just bitch work, I'm into it.
Cool.
But I don't want to be on screen. So. There's one exception. There's one exception to that.
What's that?
And I talked to Vincent DeSanti about it.
Okay.
It'd have to be a movie with Jason, and I have to get killed.
Oh, absolutely. We might someday figure out how to work a camera and do that ourselves, man.
Yeah. Now, if somebody's doing a Friday film, not even a fan film is cool. Nothing crazy because that's all we're getting.
And I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go ahead and say it because if somebody steals my idea, I don't really give a shit because the chances of me getting the money and figuring out how to use a camera and making a movie slim. I want to do a crossover with Tommy Jarvis and Jamie Lloyd. How we make that happen, I'm not sure. But I think because she is, their Tommy Jarvis. I think she's more their Tommy Jarvis than Jamie Lee Curtis.
She's also dead.
In this fucking franchise? Are you serious?
He is absolutely
nothing matters in this franchise. We can do anything.
He's absolutely butchered at the beginning of 6.
And at the beginning of 7 or 8, Jamie Lee Curtis is killed.
Oh, well.
She shows up in those other movies, don't she?
Yeah, but those are reboots and
it's a different timeline. They got all the timelines. We can do what we want. We can ignore 6 going forward. We're allowed to. They've done it. They've done it. There's 5 timelines. Now there'll be 6.
So you want to have the Friday the 13th and Halloween universe in the same universe? Yeah,
somehow. I'm thinking probably young Jamie and Tommy. After part 4.
And then
after part 4 of each franchise, or after part 4 and after part 5 of the Halloween franchise.
And then at the end of this thing, Jamie wakes up and she's really Heather Langenkamp. Let's get fucking.
Who gives a fuck? It's just the base of the idea, and I think it could be good. I think I could write it. I'm sure I could write it. I just can't make it.
Well,
and then
whatever it is, if Jason's in anything, I'll volunteer to be in it, but only if I get killed.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So keep that in mind, Vincent DeSantis.
Dude, I think it could be cool, man. I think it really could be cool.
I'll do it for free. I don't care. I just want to die.
Because how old was Tommy after 4?
He was 11, 12 years old.
Yeah. So we're going to start at them being 12 and 13 years old. They end up living in the same neighborhood somehow. So 5, maybe part 5, maybe don't even happen.
Maybe Tommy.
Friday 5.
Maybe Tommy made her clown mask.
Maybe he does make masks.
Yeah, and she wears masks.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Or we'll just talk about it, but it'll never happen. But who knows? Now that it's out there, somebody might steal the idea and make something really cool, and I'll get to watch it without doing any of the work. I'll be happy with that.
I can see the announcement tomorrow.
I'm okay. I'll contribute to the campaign. I won't even be mad you stole my idea. Even if you give me credit, don't give me credit. I don't care. Make it.
Well, it's probably not as crazy of an idea as my Jason crossover with The Sopranos. So
what? Right on.
We'll talk about that off camera, but hey, New Jersey and New Jersey, man.
Dude, I heard of a Jason Bigfoot movie. Did you hear about that?
No.
It's out. Yeah. Brian was telling me, or Brian said it wasn't that good. We both commented on something when somebody was talking about it. I'm gonna
really? A movie about Jason and Bigfoot, isn't it?
Jason Bigfoot crossover. It happened. I might watch it tonight.
Well, fuck Halloween too. Now I know what we're doing Thursday.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll watch fucking Jason and Bigfoot.
We're not going to do an hour on that. Well, we can do a flash episode someday.
Right on, maybe.
I think a 5-minute segment would be better.
We'll get it done. We'll get it done. I'll text you the name of the movie.
You're not ribbing me, are you?
No, dude, 100%.
What's the name of this thing?
I can't remember, man. But I'll text Brian later and find out.
Oh my god!
It is a thing, dude. And once I seen that, I was like, well, now I gotta watch the motherfucker.
Dude,
I hope it's short so we can burn through it real quick and we don't have to be there for like an hour and a half.
Is this real life?
Yeah. But on that note,
I don't even know what to say. All right, I'm gonna get off here and write my crossover of fucking Jason and the Mummy. I don't know.
Why not? Right? Everything's possible. Anything is possible. Yeah, it's all good.
Oh my god, you fucking broke me, dude. I'm sorry. There's no way I'm gonna be able to watch this movie without having an aneurysm from laughing.
I just hope it's at least shot well, and or I mean maybe bad is good. I don't know. I really hope that they take it serious. You know what I mean? It can't be serious, but it'd be funny if they take it serious.
I got nothing.
Well, in that case, we'll have Ice-T send us out.
There goes the neighborhood.